It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Creating space. Hewitt turning. Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime. And don't ever play Lady of Spain again.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings, all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Cunningham. Here comes Cunningham between the defenders. Cunningham. Score! Ethan Cunningham! Hat trick! Game-winning goal! The Ramblers win the 2025 2A Penguins Cup! And Ethan Cunningham is a local hero!
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. We utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace. How can I help?
Would preventative care and screenings be an option?
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest cost on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Creating space. Hewitt turning. Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime. And don't ever play Lady of Spain again.
Pittsburgh.
As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm Matt Popchock, joining you from the Mount Lebanon Ice Center, 20 minutes south of downtown Pittsburgh for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save. We go from the North Hills to the South Hills, as noted, and we have on a Thursday night football night in Pittsburgh, a color rush matchup, if you will, for game number one of our Thursday night doubleheader between, in yellow, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, and in dark blue, the Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings. Two teams looking to return to the postseason in the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League's top flight. The Blue Devils, coached by Jeremy Church, along with Pine Richland, one of only two 0-2 teams in Class 3A to begin the 25-26 regular season. When last we saw them, they fell to North Allegheny in that team's season opener 3-1 last Monday night in a game you saw on TenbandTV. And the Blue Devils, going back to the last month of last regular season, have averaged just 1.88 goals per game over their last 8 games. The offense has dried up, so bottom line, they got to find a way to score some goals. When they bag some goals, they'll bag some points, and they'll start climbing that 3A pecking order. And when all else fails, you got to put the game on the stick of your best player. 68, Xavier Bias, the two-time All-Star, the captain of this year's Mount Lebanon squad. Last year's 3A scoring co-champion with 30 points. He was held without a point in the preseason. He's been quiet in his first 2 regular season games. Law of averages, if nothing else, says he's due, and the Blue Devils need him to start getting going in order to get on the left side of the ledger. On the other side, Pittsburgh Central Catholic, coached for the second straight year by Anthony Rako, off to a pretty optimal start. They've won once in overtime, just down the road at Ice Castle, beating Upper St. Clair in overtime of their regular season opener, and last week beating Fox Chapel, returning to Class 3A this year, 5-3 in regulation in Harmarville last Thursday. And the Vikings, with those 5 points, middle of the pack in the very early part of this regular season, and their team, a healthy mix of young and old, getting offense by committee. Aaron Daly, number 2, has a couple of goals in his first couple of games. He had 4 points in the preseason. 2 years ago, he was one of the leading scorers in the PIHL Charities Tournament. The X Factor, however, could be one of Central Catholic's transfers. Number 91, Dom Ventura, warming up somewhere in the mix off to our right. Ventura last year playing varsity for Bishop Canavan as a freshman, 12 points in 12 games. Canavan not icing a varsity team this year, so over to Oakland he goes. He's a Viking in 25-26. He's got 3 goals already, including that game-winning goal against the Foxes last week. The goaltending matchup believed to be Sam Shin, who was the first one out of the tunnel for Mount Lebanon, number 31 in yellow, against number 1 in blue for Central Catholic, Mason Barberi. Barberi coming off a 19-save effort against the Upper St. Clair Panthers. He got a night off against the Foxes. Cullinson Bergwin was in goal for that game for the Vikings, but we believe Anthony Rako is going to go back to Barberi tonight. And Mount Lebanon, a team very senior-laden. 14 players in their senior class on their official roster, but really, last season when they were the number 2 team in Class 3A, it was the underclassmen that pulled the weight offensively. A number of those underclassmen not electing to play high school hockey this year, so the Blue Devils trying to adjust to that. And as far as whatever underclassmen they have left in terms of skill on the roster, trying to get those guys going with a new crop of teammates and try to get unstuck after a rocky start in those first 2 games. These teams split their season series last year. And we'll tell you about that after we listen to the song. Thank you, Austin McLean. After that pregnant pause, we are ready to play game one of our PIHL doubleheader. USA Hockey crew for game number one, Peterson and McLean, no relation. And this will be an interesting challenge for the host Blue Devils, a team that on their official roster has 27 players in all on the varsity sheet, but dressing only 10 skaters total for tonight's contest. No rest for the weary in Class 3A. There is never an easy game, night in, night out, week in, week out. And they're playing a very balanced opponent in Pittsburgh Central Catholic that has got to be feeling good about themselves for those first two games. Central Catholic last year, a middle-of-the-road Class 3A team, bounced in the quarterfinal round of the Penguins Cup playoffs, looking for bigger and better things. They haven't won a playoff round since their Penguins Cup final berth in 2017. Parker Arlett, who scored his first ever varsity goal against the Vikings in this barn last year, takes the opening faceoff, which is pushed into Mount Lebanon territory by Central Catholic. The Blue Devils now move the puck from left to right, or effort to, on your TV, computer, or mobile device to begin the game. Ventura tied up for the junior. 3 points in his first two games. Nathan Schran, one of Jeremy Church's alternate captains, watches this puck whiz past Sam Shin. Dante Albanese, the alternate captain, with a shoot in there a moment ago as both teams are changing personnel. Sophomore defenseman Evan Cardiff up to Aaron Daly. Pierce Conrarty dumps the puck. Blue Devils tag up after finding themselves in a delayed offside position. Daly unable to outlet it. Kurta got in his way. Kurta had the game-winning goal the last time these teams played in this building, a 4-0 Mount Lebanon win, October 14th of last calendar year. Now, the Vikings certainly got their revenge on November 25th. Noah Ritz scoring a hat trick and Central handing Lebo at the time their first loss of the previous regular season. Daly from center, dropping for Tommy Lavelle. Lavelle dumps it in. Conrarty around the boards. Blue Devils from deep in their own zone. They lose this puck to Jeff Stepetic. Stepetic, the diminutive forechecker, unable to keep it inside the Blue Devils line. Sam Huff giving chase for Mount Lebanon. The sophomore had their only goal in that loss to NA last week. Near side Lavelle lets it go up to Berthold. And Shane Berthold unable to advance that puck. Cam Mayer from long range. And that's off the blocker hand of Mason Barberi. Vikings from their own blue line. Berthold with a dump in. Anticipating his Arlett. And he'll let it go to Will White. White trying to go up ahead to Zach Lynham. Lynham unable to take that pass, which was deflected in the neutral zone. Ray Travado. 3 points in his preseason. Lynham the save. The rebound fanned on by White. Barberi making the save, and Will White had a partially exposed net to shoot at, but couldn't make contact with that puck as he was charging the cage. Lebo changing on the fly early in a scoreless game. Travado, cross ice for Braden Lewinter. Vikings into Blue Devil territory. Santino Strobel to the corner, back up top now for Travado. Travado through a crowd, that missed everything. Strobel plays it to the corner now for Ketterer. Ketterer now goes down to his stomach trying to play that puck. Lebo wins the battle. From his own end, Charles Bank. Bank making his varsity debut in this building against co-tenant South Fayette on opening night. Dom Ventura from his own line. Stick check by Kyle Quigley. Blue Devils try to reset the play, but turn it over to Ventura. Ventura unable to center for Daly. Backing up the play is Strobel. Daly from the edge of the circle, off the side of the net. Braden McGurk keeps it alive. McGurk, that caught off Shin, and it caught off a piece of the post, I believe. Outlet pass intercepted. Coming the other way, Kane Phillip. Burial! Kane Phillip scores for the Vikings to take a 1-0 lead, and don't give up the Hedge Clippers. Phillip was white hot in the preseason with 4 goals for Central Catholic. He's earned that letter A, and he's got his first regular season goal here in Mount Lebanon. The shot looked harmless enough from distance. Shin had time to track it, but could not. Officially, it's all Kane Phillip. An unassisted goal to put Central Catholic on top 1-0. Penalty coming up on the Blue Devils, who have unraveled a bit after the face-off following the Kane Phillip goal. Arlett will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free. Elbowing the indication against the Mount Lebanon senior. Central Catholic to the penny power play. Though the Blue Devils a strong penalty-killing team, at least, to start this regular season after finishing last on the PK last season at 64.4%. 4 of 5 to begin the 25-26 campaign. Central Catholic a modest 1 of 6 on the power play on their young season. And the Vikings win the faceoff. McGurk, cross ice for Albanese. From the circle, off the post, Daly. And the net behind Sam Shin dislodged. Shin, 0-1, 383 goals against average, 864 save percentage. Did a nice job for the Blue Devils in the PIHL Charities Tournament, putting up a 176 goals against and .905 save percentage, and getting official credit for 1 victory in the preseason. Kurta will clear the zone, and that caught Phillip up high. Not an intentional play, certainly by Kurta, but Phillip a bit shaken up as the Mount Lebanon penalty killer was just trying to do his duty. Now Daly is dumped at center, and play continues. Bias, one-touch play to the red line. McGurk retreating. Gavin Watson with the dump in. Vikings try to set up their power play once again. Bias with a steal. Bias over the attacking line, unable to get it through the legs of McGurk, who doesn't know where it is. Kurta with a steal. Kurta with a chance shorthanded from an angle. That save is made by Barberi. Kurta double teamed by Albanese and company behind the Central Catholic net, but this is a good penalty killing shift by 58 and 68 in yellow. Kurta and Xavier Bias. Now it's a triple team on Kurta, who still had that puck frozen between his skates. Penalty clock down to 40. Matteo Masidi, right side, intended for Phillip. Blue Devils clear it again. Now Kurta just doing yeoman's work on the PK, and you know Jeremy Church, the veteran coach, appreciates that. Eberhardt, the alternate captain, trying to get it up the boards. Watson plays it for Central Catholic. Strobel in support, has it for the Vikings. He fires off a Mount Lebanon stick, and that should just about do it. Liam Powers doing the honors. Arlett is sprung, and we're back to 5 aside. Under 10 to go in the first period as icing is called against Central Catholic, which leads this game 1-0. Face off to the right of Mason Barberi, who is immediately called into action, but that puck rolled off of Bias's stick. Will White's stick at the last moment. Steal by Mayer. Mayer scores! The Blue Devils go bar down with 9:40 to play in the first period. Cam Mayer ties the game at 1, and these pretzels are making me thirsty. It took them a moment, but the USA Hockey crew of Peterson and McLean made the right call. That snuck in under the crossbar behind Barberi, the Central Catholic sophomore. And Mount Lebanon has pulled even. Vikings control the ensuing faceoff. Berthold trying to get it up to center. Lewinter from the corner for Berthold. Arlett unable to keep it inside the line. Nick Halaburka, son of PIHL Commissioner Tom Halaburka, who is in the house, by the way, getting that puck deep for Central. Lebo fighting fire with fire and getting an unassisted goal of their own. Cam Mayer tying this game at 1 as the Blue Devils operate near the midpoint of period 1. Arlett open on the right side, has it, fires it toward goal, save Barberi, still available, but Halaburka sends it to the boards and out of danger. Keller Dungan retreating. Dungan defensively, near side, but it comes right to Phillip. Dungan playing his first PIHL varsity game last Monday in Warrendale. Watson, that pass cut out by Kurta. Kurta right circle, fires just wide of the stick side of goaltender Barberi. Blue Devils with some momentum now since that Mayer goal. The junior's second goal in 3 games this regular season. Daly over the attacking line for Central. Daly turning around and putting it through the blue paint. Bias building speed over the blue line. Bias on the counterattack. Bias out in front, had a man open, but he was out of position. Nathan Tran unable to knock it in. Barberi settles that one down. And a steal by White. White to Mayer. Mayer from the high slot off the glass. It'll stay in play for McGurk as the Blue Devils complete a change behind the action. Daly one more time, outletting to Phillip. Good stick there by Lineup. McGurk off one of the Blue Devils. Anthony Rako calling for a line change as it's played by Meyer in the neutral zone. Too far for Huff. And here come the Vikings in transition. Ventura. Stick check between the circles by Eberhardt. Lebo has the loose puck. White, surrounded by dark jerseys, is just going to dump it in and go for the change. Albanese, part of Rako's 25-26 leadership group, up to Ventura. Ahead for Ketterer. Ketterer trying to split the defense. Ketterer takes a stick up high, as play goes on. Mount Lebanon content to ice this puck seemingly. Lehman unable to get there on time. If you love watching your team on TenbandTV, there's no better way to support it than buying a sponsorship for the 2025-26 season. Now through Halloween Friday, our preseason special has been extended, allowing you to put whatever ad buys you make toward a broadcast of your favorite team. Quantities are limited. Broadcasts awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. Email sales@tenbandmedia.com before the next puck drops and tell us your team. Blue Devils take it over deep. Fanning on the attempted shot was Curta. Bias tied up immediately behind the net by LeWinter. To the point it comes to Varhola. Varhola just missing. Masidi up ahead of the play for the Vikings. Conrarty around Halliburka. Conrarty with the dump in. LeWinter, the first player there for either team. Turned over to Bias. Bias from between the circles, shoots it wide. Bias from an angle off the side of the net. And you can tell he's tired of hearing about that goose egg. He's smelling the blood in the water tonight, Xavier Bias. Vikings clear it. And now Central guilty of icing. Barberi, Central's #1 goalie going into the regular season. Won 2 of 3 decisions, in the preseason. .880 save percentage, 1 shutout in the PIHL Charities Tournament. Vikings reached the semifinal round of that tournament before bowing to eventual champion Seneca Valley. Raiders have won 2 of those in a row as that puck goes out of play. And we'll be seeing the Raiders on Halloween Eve for the first time this regular season, but more on that later. Under 4:30 to go in the first, face-off in Central Catholic territory in a 1-1 game. Mayer and Ventura, the 2 combatants at the face-off dot, get tied up in the corner. Wraparound attempt is blocked off by Watson. Ketterer harassed by Huff as he enters the Mount Lebanon zone. Ventura unable to elude the Mount Lebanon defense. Ketterer sends it behind the Mount Lebanon goal. Arlett off the body of Strobel. Out in front it comes to Strobel, who misses to the far post. Strobel had that OT winner, not far from here, against Upper St. Clair in the season opener. 3 points on his young season. And he comes up with a near turnover there as the Blue Devils eventually clear the zone. Delayed offside on Central Catholic. Tran takes the outlet pass. Tran from the blue line floats it in off Barberi. Coming after that puck for the Blue Devils just on is Quigley, but the Vikings easily get it up to center, and Stepetic sends it to the corner. Albanese in front of his own bench. Chased by Bank. Quigley with a steal. Blue Devils to the corner. Lynham around the boards. Varhola with a keep in. Bank from the corner. Albanese working him over. And wide of the goal mouth, that one will go off the stick of Eberhardt. Bank with the active stick, forcing the Vikings to reset. McGurk. Shin trying to play that puck, but it goes to the corner. Bank off his own half wall. Daly keeps it in. Lynham from the home bench. Gets it as far as the stick of McGurk, who sends it right back in for Central Catholic. Travado off a glove hand. That of Lynham. And Jeremy Church wants to make a late line change here in the final 2 minutes of the period. Steal by Curta. Curta from the corner. Behind the net. Turnaround try. That's blocked. And the follow-up goes wide. Conrarty to the corner. Curta in pursuit. Shrugs off the defender. In behind the net it comes. Arlett. Attracting all kinds of attention to Bias. Out in front, it goes off a Viking stick. It's cleared but not out. That one skipping wide. Fired wide of goal by Huff. Correction, that was Cooper Church missing the net as we get a penalty coming up with 64 ticks to talk. And the Vikings win the own zone faceoff. Good hustle by Graham Ressler. Curta with a keep in for Bias. Bias for Tran. Tran cross ice for Curta. Curta to the corner for Bias. Bias. Albanese right on top of him. Curta with it one more time for Nathan Tran. Under 40 to go in the period. Arlett shooting. I'll take that. Thank you very much, says Barberi. A minute 30 to go in this penny power play for Lebo, which will carry over into period two, barring late developments. Tran keeps it alive, fires through a crowd. Sounded like Barberi got a piece of that one. Bias has the rebound. Bias to the goal. Bias out in front. Score! Graham Ressler nuzzles that nylon with 20 seconds left. And he's listening to the flippin' song. It's 2-1, Mount Lebanon. Beautiful pass by Bias for his first point of the season. We told you the kid was due. Ressler with his first goal back since returning to varsity hockey after taking a year off to play for the Mount Lebanon Hornets program. And it gives Mount Lebanon the lead. Barberi with that save. Wrestler staying on here at the end of the period. Eberhardt gets it inside the Central Catholic line. Vikings hurry it up to center. And there's the end of your first period. The buzzer malfunctioning evidently here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center. So the USA Hockey crew will blow the whistle to signal the end of period 1. Late special teams magic by Mount Lebanon gives the Blue Devils a 2-1 lead over Central Catholic. Matt Popchock here for PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by Mount Washington Shop and Save.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Creating space. Hewitt turning. Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime. And don't ever play Lady of Spain again. The Mount Washington Shop and Save is a proud sponsor of the 2025-2026 season of PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV. Check out the ad on your screen during any of our broadcasts this season for the latest, greatest deals on everything the Mount Washington Shop and Save has to offer. Whatever you need, including every kind of spicy cheese under the sun, store managers Jim and Michelle Kazarowski will make sure you find it at the Mount Washington Shop and Save. And thank you to Jim and Michelle for their continued support of high school hockey on TenbandTV. Matt Popchock back here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center, game 1 of our Thursday night doubleheader on TenbandTV. Our friend Brian Mitchell in the Greensburg area tonight as Salem hosts North Hills in Class A action at the Kirk Nevin Arena. You can watch that on demand, or if you want to multitask, you can watch it live on our TenbandTV 2 channel. Berg Hockey Live back again for another season. Nice to work with him. Here in Class 3A action, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils had 8 of the first 10 shots on goal of this hockey game, and they lead where it counts 2-1 over the Central Catholic Vikings as the teams have switched sides. The Blue Devils, a team on paper outmanned. We told you they're dressing only 10 skaters tonight, but showing a lot of fight in that first period, and they've got the lead as the Vikings nearly tie it off the stick of Strobel. Shin with his biggest save of the contest. Turnover to Ventura in the corner. Some defensive support at last for Shin from his defender Tran. Watson from the corner. Checked by Resler. Resler officially scoring that power play goal with 20 seconds left in the first from Bias and Nathan Tran. And that's what has the Blue Devils on top. Liam Powers up to center. Good opening shift of the period by the Vikings, but nothing to show for it. Strobel goes down. The Vikings retaliate. Lavelle with a hit in his own zone as Mount Lebanon plays it beyond the red line off the stick of Huff. And Huff comes off for a partial change. And going down in the corner for Mount Lebanon and getting up a bit slowly is Mayer, who had his helmet knocked off, and one of the Vikings is down as well. An uncomfortable looking collision in that far corner. And we'll step aside while that player gets medical attention. Mount Lebanon leading Central Catholic 2-1. PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Creating space. Hewitt turning. Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime. And don't ever play Lady of Spain again. Gavin Watson, the injured Central Catholic skater, helped off the ice and receiving further attention to the extreme left of the Mount Lebanon bench as we look at it from press row. You never like to see under any circumstances the on-duty EMT run onto the ice that quickly, and you kind of hold your breath whenever it happens, but Watson at least was able to get up on his own accord and get off the ice with minimal help from his teammates. The Blue Devils, the team coming in with numbers problems tonight. Now Central Catholic suddenly down a man for the immediate future as Barberi covers that puck. Daly against Arlett. And Arlett wins this faceoff for Lebo. Lynham unable to keep it inside the attacking zone. Phillip across the other line for Central Catholic, but Stepetic was offside. Perhaps it's my Mandela-affected memory, but I believe we did see Phillip, at least in the preseason, wear that alternate captain's letter A in at least one game for the Central Catholic Vikings, and not wearing it tonight for this away contest. Bias with it for Mount Lebanon. From the corner, trying to play it out in front this time for the intended target, and that is Arlett. Arlett too well covered. Phillip trying to get the transition game going for the Vikings. Near side Daly. Daly shouldered by Lynham. From between the circles, Phillip leaned into that one, but put it out of play. The senior forward with the Vikings' only goal thus far. Face off to Shin's right. Controlled by the Vikings. Sent to the corner. Strobel unable to keep it inside the zone. Quigley gets it deep for Mount Lebanon, surrounded by three Vikings. McGurk near side. Taken away by Lehman. Josh Lehman to the corner. Braden McGurk one more time. Sam Eberhardt with the keep. Bank behind the goal line. Met up high by Albanese. Out in front it comes. Kept alive by Varhola. Turnaround shot just missing Barberi. Varhola in the nick of time sends it around the corner. Albanese trying to clear it for Central. And the Vikings eventually will ice this puck early in the second period. Anthony Rako wants a fresh unit out there for the faceoff. Mayer out there for the draw for Mount Lebanon. Mateo Masidi, who describes himself as a face-off specialist, in there for Central Catholic, but the Blue Devils possess this puck. Mayer out in front, batted wide of goal, legally by Huff. Officials say no high stick. And Cameron Cox plays it near side for Travado. Travado on the off wing. Good stick there by Church. Lavelle from right point. To the corner, settled on by Halaburka. Halaburka takes a hit. It's played out in front, and Masidi ties it at 2. For the Central Catholic Vikings, Mateo Masidi smells like teen spirit. And these teams continue to trade blows in one of Class 3A's more competitive rivalries. Mount Lebanon 2, Central Catholic 2. 12:46 to the ice cut. We don't talk about Masidi much, but we're told he has a pretty strong two-way game, and he just demonstrated it right there. Blasted that one from right in front past Sam Shin, and the Vikings are back in it. Phillip. That outlet pass too strong for Stepedic. Blue Devils content to send it back to the center circle. LeWinter near side, Bias up to Curta. Curta over the line. Curta, stick check by Albanese. LeWinter trying to keep it away from Xavier Bias. Arlett to the point. Eberhardt toward goal, that was blocked. Phillip up ahead for Albanese. Albanese hits the brakes, fires it off of Sam Shin. Ketterer the rebound. He misses the net. Albanese for Ketterer. Ketterer, stick check by Arlett. Up to center it comes for Bias. Albanese takes the hit but protects the puck for Central Catholic. Curta still on top of him. Blue Devils ramp up the forecheck. Out in front it comes, wide of the crease. Shot from an angle off the side of the net. Varhola waiting and watching at left point. They'll have to wait and watch a little longer. Vikings ice the puck. Officially, Masidi, his first of the season from Halaburka and Lavelle to tie it up for Central Catholic. Halaburka just earning his first ever varsity point last Thursday in the win over Fox Chapel. Now he's got 2. Lavelle with his first point of the season. So some of the under-the-radar players getting it done for Anthony Rayco. Lavelle now on the back check as the Blue Devils take over this puck deep in Central territory. Huff to the corner for Powers. Powers trying to play it back to Huff. McGurk got there first. Huff surrounded by Vikings. Gave up that puck. Ventura intended for Strobel. Blue Devils unable to get it back to center. Second time will be the charm, thanks to Nate Tran. Tran on the retreat to his defensive partner Varhola with just over 10 to go in the second period. Over the line is Wrestler. Wrestler forcing the save from Barberi. Masidi open but lost an edge. Tran playing that puck from his own line. Strobel dumps it in. Conrarty works it up to White. White leaves it for Lynham. Lynham for Will White. Good play there by Halaburka to catch up his man. White unable to locate that puck at his feet. Blue Devils still forcing the issue. White pinned against the glass. Lynham behind the net. Still loose. Lynham trying to go out in front for Will White, but it comes right to Berthold will dump it in for Central Catholic. Masidi with a steal. Worked out in front. One-timer put wide. Berthold would like to have that one back, I'm sure. Conrarty takes a slash there from Stepetic. Play continues. Mount Lebanon in the middle of a line change. Masidi thought he was offside, but officials waved it off, and that was a mistake by Masidi. A break there for Mount Lebanon. Phillip across the line. Blocker save by Shin, who knocks it out of action midway through this second period, in which deuces are wild. Period 2, a 2-2 game between Central Catholic and the Blue Devils. And only 2 shots in this second period thus far for the home team. Matteo Masidi with the only goal of the middle frame thus far. Daly tied up behind the net. Early on, Central Catholic has had a knack for playing in and surviving these close games. Let's see how they fare tonight. McGurk shrugs off Quigley. Stepetic to the point for Albanese. Albanese off a couple of skates. Good gap control there by Dungan. Dungan forces the stick save from Barberi. Puck out of play. If you love watching your team on TenbandTV, there's no better way to support it than buying a sponsorship for the 2025-26 season. Now until Halloween Friday, our preseason special has been extended, allowing you to put whatever ad buys you make toward a broadcast of your favorite team. Quantities are limited. Broadcasts awarded first come, first serve. Email sales@tenbandmedia.com before the next puck drops and tell us your team. Blue Devils win the Ozone draw, but can't keep it for long. Here comes Strobel in a tie game around Conrarty. Strobel from the corner. Conrarty, some good thievery there. Unable to clear the zone, however. Ketterer deep in Lebo territory off the side of the net. Strobel to Ventura. Ventura met immediately by Eberhardt. That allows Arlett to play this puck behind his goaltender. And it goes into the away bench. First trip to the Mount Lebanon Ice Center in this 25-26 regular season. And I missed hearing that beep beep. Maybe the only place in the PIHL where you can literally hear and feel the Zamboni warming up beneath your feet. They've got 7 more minutes to go as the terrestrial clock has moved past 8 here in Mount Lebanon. Blue Devils play to their own boards. Tran off the glass. Lavelle promptly up ahead for Ketterer. Ketterer tied up neatly by Tran. Cooper Church from his own corner, reversing the play, and Ketterer wiping out in the process, trying to track him. That goes off Church's glove. Strobel will slow his pursuit. Tran, a sneaky little play there to Wrestler. Wrestler, piece of equipment loose, a neck guard evidently inside the Mount Lebanon line. Blue Devils get this puck deep and complete their line change. Arlett in an offside position. That'll allow Central Catholic to play it from behind their own goal. Well, maybe not. Mayer didn't get the memo, and neither did we. The Blue Devils are offside. Mayer and Graham Ressler, the two Mount Lebanon goal scorers. Central Catholic getting goals from Kane Phillip and Matteo Masidi. Halaburka off the stick of Shin. Daly was tied up by Mayer. Albanese through a crowd. That never beat the crowd. White knocked off the puck cleanly by LeWinter. Varhola from center red for Arlett. LeWinter couldn't control it. Mayer again offside. Just outside the Central Catholic blue line, the Vikings control this face-off. This pass beyond the reach of Phillip. Bank in there battling with Lehman. LeWinter in the thick of it for Central Catholic. Ventura lays a hit on one of the Blue Devils. Central Catholic wins the puck battle along the near boards, and LeWinter sends it deep. Final 5 minutes before the ice cut. Blue Devils 2, Vikings 2. Lehman near side. Watched by LeWinter. Sends it in, settled down by Barberi. Blue Devils changing quickly. Ventura for Stepetic. Stepetic, one-on-one with Conrarty, ducks around the check, but forgot the puck. Mount Lebanon gets it deep, no icing, says this USA Hockey crew. Phillip, dispossessed by Ressler. Ressler for Bias. Bias missing the goal. Shoulder check by Ressler on McGurk. Bias in the far corner for Lebo. Ressler trying to slip it out in front to Xavier Bias, but the latter too well covered. Bias with a steal. Bias floats it wide of Barberi, who knocks it to the near corner. Conrarty from the left point. McGurk plays it from behind his own goal. Eberhardt to his line mate Kurta. Vikings fans calling for too many men as Arlett hopped on right around the same time the puck got there. Arlett worked over by Lavelle. Strobel with the puck now for Central. Strobel firing wide of goal. And that went off a Vikings helmet. That hit Stepetic, I think, on the Central Catholic bench. And so this face-off will stay in Mount Lebanon ice. A short pause for the on-duty EMT to step off the surface. The same one who was attending to the injured Gavin Watson earlier in this period. Waiting in the wings, some of the Chartiers Valley Colts, who will be in action later against the Avonworth Antelopes in Class A Gold competition. And we'll have that for you on TenbandTV. Halaburka from center for Daly. Daly couldn't hang on. Arlett unable to get around LeWinter. Daly cross ice, almost taken away by Lynham. Dangerous pass there, but Travado controls it for the Vikings. Halaburka, one-touch play to Daly. Daly around Varhola. Out in front it comes, shot. Missing the net is Travado. Still available, Daly's follow-up goes wide. Looked like he had Shin leaning the wrong way, too. Arlett harassed by Halaburka. Final 2 minutes of second period play. Daly trying to send it out in front for LeWinter. He can't. Halaburka with a steal. but the Vikings have to tag up. Daly, the Central Catholic captain, comes up with a turnover. Daly from the circle, saved by Shin. The rebound cleared by Varhola. Tran will ice this puck for the Blue Devils with $1:34 to go. Not a ton of shots, 19 on goal altogether between these two clubs. But good chances at both ends and a lot of hard work at both ends of the ice. It's been the lunch pail kind of game we expect when Lebo and Central unite. McGurk high and wide. Powers from his own line as we approach the final minute of first period play. That puck somehow stays in play for Mayer, who is denied from distance by Barberi. As I'm corroborated by Austin McLean, the Blue Devils play it to the corner. Albanese through the protective netting, and this faceoff will come in Vikings territory. Daly will take this face-off for Central against Wrestler, and he'll win it. Stolen by Kurta, and the glove save made in response by Barberi. Same two combatants in the face-off circle. Different result. Kurta from the corner. He's knocked off the puck. Daly up to center with half a minute to play. Daly centers it. Shot by Phillip is blocked. This puck is still loose and sent to the boards. Daly with 20 to go. Cross ice. One-timer by Phillip. Score! Thank you, sir. May I have another? Kane Phillip with 18 ticks to talk. A little excuse me shot from the left circle gives the Vikings a 3-2 lead. Somehow you just felt a goal coming. They couldn't hit the first one-timer. But Phillip on the second attempt finds a way to get it in past Sam Shin, the Blue Devil netminder. 10 seconds left for Bank. Bank trying to feed a man out in front. Chance for the Blue Devils. It's still loose. Is it jammed in? No, it is not. Barberi got the paw out there, and he freezes it inside that crease. Officially, Phillip from Daly. Daly with 3 points now on the young season. And a miscommunication is resolved now as Ketterer has to come off. Anthony Rako wanted to know why he couldn't stay out there for this face-off. And Albanese will freeze the puck. That'll be our end-of-period whistle, and we will cut the ice at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center with your score. Central Catholic Vikings 3, Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 2. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching it on PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. FiberNew specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
That caught off Shin, and it caught off a piece of the post, I believe. Outlet pass intercepted. Coming the other way, Kane Phillip. Burial! Kane Phillip scores for the Vikings to take a 1-0 lead, and don't give up the hedge clippers. Officially, it's all Kane Phillip. An unassisted goal to put Central Catholic on top 1-0. Penalty coming up on the Blue Devils. Will White stick at the last moment. Steal by Mayer. Mayer scores! The Blue Devils go bar down with 9:40 to play in the first period. Cam Mayer ties the game at 1. Curta with it one more time for Nathan Tran. Under 40 to go in the period. Arlett shooting. I'll take that. Thank you very much, says Barberi. Got a piece of that one. Bias has the rebound. Bias to the goal. Bias out in front. Score! Graham Ressler nuzzles that nylon with 20 seconds left. And he's listening to the flippin' song. They're dressing only 10 skaters tonight, but showing a lot of fight in that first period, and they've got the lead as the Vikings nearly tie it off the stick of Strobel. Shin with his biggest save of the contest. Right point. To the corner. Settled on by Halaburka. Halaburka takes the hit. It's played out in front, and Masidi ties it at 2. For the Central Catholic Vikings, Mateo Masidi smells like teen spirit. Phillip across the line. Blocker save by Shin, who knocks it out of action midway through this second period, in which deuces are wild for Central against Ressler, and he'll win it. Stolen by Curta, and the glove save made in response, but Daly with 20 to go. Cross ice. One-timer by Phillip. Score! Thank you, sir. May I have another? Kane Phillip with 18 ticks to talk. A little still loose. Is it jammed in? No, it is not. Barberi got the paw out there, and he freezes it inside that crease. And we will cut the ice at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center with your score. Central Catholic Vikings 3, Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 2. I'm Matt Popchock.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Gonna get out, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Hewitt creating space. Hewitt turning. Scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime, and don't ever play Lady of Spain again.
Do you have a favorite leather couch or chair that's damaged? Has your car, boat, or RV's interior seen better days? Maybe your business's furniture or your private aircraft's interior could use a little love. You're probably thinking replacement is going to be expensive. And what happens to the damaged piece after you throw it out? Does it just end up in a landfill? It doesn't have to. Fiber New specializes in the restoration of leather, plastic, and vinyl. To get an estimate, connect with us today.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices, located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart. Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
Gonna get out, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Pass Cunningham. Here comes Cunningham between the defenders. Cunningham. Score! Ethan Cunningham! Hat trick! Game-winning goal! The Ramblers win the 2025 2A Penguins Cup! And Ethan Cunningham is a local hero!
Look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. We utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
Thank you for calling Penny, PA's official health insurance marketplace. How can I help?
Would preventative care and screenings be an option?
You came to the right place. Penny gets you the lowest cost on high-quality plans.
Enroll now at penny.com. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
Discover the heart of Pittsburgh at Mount Washington Shop and Save. At Mount Washington Shop and Save, we're more than just a grocery store. We're your neighborhood destination. From the freshest local produce to gourmet delights, we've got it all under one roof. Experience convenience, quality, and savings all in the heart of Mount Washington. Mount Washington Shop and Save, where Pittsburgh shops with a view. Shop smart, shop local, shop Mount Washington Shop and Save.
Gonna get out, pretty baby. Gonna get out of this rocking chair.
Hewitt creating space. Hewitt turning, scoring! Marshall Hewitt has won the Penguins Cup championship for the Seneca Valley Raiders with 12:29 to play in triple overtime, and don't ever play Lady of Spain again.
Do you
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
The Mount Washington Shop and Save is a proud sponsor of the 2025-2026 season of PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV. Check out the ad on your screen during any of our broadcasts this season for the latest, greatest deals on everything the Mount Washington Shop and Save has to offer. Whatever you need, including that ghost pepper cheese you've been looking for, store managers Jim and Michelle Kazarowski will make sure you find it at the Mount Washington Shop and Save. And special thanks to Jim and Michelle, as always, for supporting regional hockey coverage, high school, college club, etc., on TenbandTV. It's college hockey season, too, in Western PA, not just high school season. They're all underway now. Good luck to all the local college teams that have gotten underway already. Some of these PIHLers going to be playing for some of those club teams and college teams in the foreseeable future. A lot of those programs recruit from the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League. Here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center, we begin the third period of play on a freshly cut sheet of ice with the Central Catholic Vikings leading the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 3-2. Vikings trying to start 3-0, 3 wins at least in their first 3 games, including 1 overtime win, despite not having the services of all-star forward and alternate captain Judah Brophy, who is in a combination of hockey clothes and street clothes tonight on that Central Catholic bench. Arlett and Ventura like a couple of Mack trucks colliding in the neutral zone. Albanese from his own corner, reversing the play to Strobel. Strobel behind his own net for McGurk. McGurk turned it over. Arlett down the boards for Bias. Bias, stick check by McGurk. Arlett gets it deep once again. Good keep by Eberhardt. Eberhardt, Conradi shanked the one-timer. Bias to the loose puck quickly. Bias trying to sneak it over to Huff. Nothing doing. And Arlett with a hard hit there on McGurk behind the ladder zone net. That puck through the blue paint. And from the far boards, it's up to center, vis-a-vis Strobel for Ventura. Vikings quickly trying to change lines. Lavelle from his own zone off one of the USA Hockey officials. Again, it's Peterson and McLean, the Game 1 referee pairing. Daly, who set up the go-ahead goal late in period 2 for Central Catholic. Blue Devils scoring late in period 1 on the power play. Central scoring late at even strength in the second frame. Masidi and Phillip, the 2 goal scorers, the only goals of that second period, and both belong to the Vikings. One-touch play by White, deep into Central Catholic territory, cleared quickly by Lavelle. Travado to the point. Sent in for Curta. Curta couldn't control that heavy pass. White trying to play it out in front. He's tied up well by Lavelle. Mayer knocked to the ice by Phillip. And Travado gets it up to center red. Travado now with a dump in. Vikings making some changes behind the play. Lynham from just beyond his own line for Mayer. Mayer misplayed that puck to LeWinter. Daly with a dump in. Phillip on hat-trick watch. Wraparound try. That hit off the side of the cage. Daly's turnaround play. That's stopped easily by Sam Shin. LeWinter behind the net for Daly. It goes through Daly. Tran, the alternate captain of Mount Lebanon, catching up to it. Albanese from left point, firing wide. White icing this puck for the Blue Devils in the midst of a line change. Second period shots were 9-5 in the Vikings' favor. Entering period 3, it was 13-11 Lebo for the game. Lebo winning the own zone draw. Lehman over the line, just barely onside was Quigley. Vikings back to center. Conrarty with the dump in. Albanese lets it go to Quigley. Quigley of the Blue Devils, tied up by Dante Albanese in the corner. Albanese took a stick to the stomach, or at least he's doubled over in a manner that would suggest that is the case. Albanese appears to be okay. Backhand try on Barberi. This puck's still available. Halliburka couldn't clear it. Conrarty. Quigley catching some friendly fire there. Blue Devils unable to work it in front. Halliburka will Murphy dump it now back to center. Vikings changing on the fly. Masidi up now for Strobel. Ketterer goes after this puck. Conrarty trying to get it to Lynham. Lynham tying up one of the Vikings behind the Mount Lebanon goal. To center. Good play there by Powers to stay onside. Arlett knocked off the puck. But now the whistle sounds. 5 minutes into period 3. Ventura wins it cleanly for the Vikings. Ketterer lost an edge. That's a break for the Blue Devils, who fire this puck off the side of the net. Powers just had too much momentum to get a clean shot on goal. From the half wall, Powers for Church. Bias from the corner. Bias out in front. Arlett on his backhand ran out of real estate and turned it over to Strobel. Bias, meanwhile, colliding with Ketterer as Strobel crosses the line. Strobel from up high. That deflected wide of Shin and almost got in behind the Mount Lebanon sophomore. Couple of sophomores between the pipes tonight at either end. Shin for the Blue Devils. Mason Barberi for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. Zach Lynham from the right point. Fanned on that shot. Blue Devils have to tag up. Phillip. Up now for Stepetic. Daly gets it the rest of the way. Tran went down on the back check but bounces right back up. Daly from the edge of the circle, and Shin has to fight that one off. Shin the sliding save on the follow-up by Travado. LeWinter off the scorer's table. Travado retreating. Wrestler on the forecheck for Mount Lebanon. Daly to center. Phillip from the referee's crease sends it around the boards, anticipating his Daly on the half wall. Daly, hard shoulder check there by Resler. Save made by Shin on the bad angle shot by Phillip. Shin's teammates expressing their approval. Under 10 to go in regulation. Vikings up by a goal. Daly with a steal. Daly 1 against 3. Wants some company and finally has it in the person of Nick Halliburka. Steal by Cox to the corner for Halliburka. Tran and the Blue Devils able to clear the zone. Powers over the line. Powers surrounded by dark jerseys. Masidi and company play it off a Mount Lebanon glove and back to center. Conrardi in behind the net. Travado. McGurk from center. Turned it over to Eberhardt. Hit up high on Cameron Cox. Blue Devils on the attack. Sam Huff couldn't locate that one. Arlett's shot just missing. White's shot, I beg your pardon. Halfway through the third period. Mount Lebanon still looking for that equalizer. Eberhardt around the net. Mayer looked like he put it off Barberi's pad. I don't think Barberi had any idea where that puck was or where it came from. Vikings quickly changing. White stripped of the puck by Strobel. Ketterer on the counterattack. Fires into the glove hand of Shin, and with that green glove hand, he'll hold on. Looks like Shaha Panthers green, one of the junior programs represented by both teams tonight. Bias, the Mount Lebanon captain, of course, a Shaha Panther stalwart. Lebo winning the puck battle. And speak of the devil, here is Bias from his own corner up to Kurta. Kurta 1-on-2. Kurta with space. Kurta shooting from an angle. Easy save there for Barberi. Varhola to the corner. Arlett trying to get open in front. Blue Devils trying to jam it in, but Barberi wise to it. Jeremy Church's top line's got to have some tired legs at this point, but they've got to dig deep and find some more fuel if they want to avoid an 0-3 start to their season. Daly with a face-off win. Stepetic near side. Phillip over the line. Phillip from the corner. Phillip double teamed immediately. Lynham from his own board. Stepetic on the forecheck for Central. Ducks around Lynham. Now gets plowed by Dungan. That shot stopped by Shin. Looked like Daly fired that puck from the odd angle. Albanese from center red. Sends it around the Mount Lebanon boards. Daly goes there for the dump in. Phillip plays it to himself behind the net. Daly out in front. Lewinter trying to tee it up and shoot. Waited a split second too long. Albanese up to Stepetic, who defers to Phillip. Phillip into the rafters and out of play. Just over 6.5 to go in the third. Central Catholic up by a goal. The Vikings trying to play road warriors for the second time in 3 games to start their season. They won their opener against Upper St. Clair at the Ice Castle on the 2nd of October. Huff to center for McGurk. And McGurk, the only one in the vicinity, as the Vikings able to get this puck behind the Blue Devils' net. Huff after this one. McGurk puts it off the body of Mayer. Masidi from the corner, unable to get it out in front. Huff and Mayer connecting again on the right side. Mayer past McGurk. Mayer leaves it for White. Eberhardt trying to get open, but it's stolen by Berthold. No icing, says this USA Hockey crew. Conrarty waits for his teammates to complete their line change. Barberi wise to let that one go for icing on the hosts. Bank wins the face-off from Ventura. Lehman from his own zone up to Quigley. LeWinter ready and waiting for Central Catholic. Blue Devils force it inside the line. Travato up to Ketterer. Ketterer with the dump in. Varhola trying to get positioning on Ventura. Bank. His stick tied up by that of Strobel. Blue Devils to center. Here's Quigley. Met again by LeWinter. Final 5 minutes of regulation. Central Catholic clinging to the 3-2 lead. Ketterer playing keep away from Bank. One of the Blue Devils hit up high as he got rid of that puck against the glass. That was Church absorbing that hit. Jeremy Church changing lines as Curtis stumbles onto the ice from the bench. Shin settling that puck down. Stretch pass. Nothing but dark shirts in the area. Travato too heavy for Daly. Again, it will not be icing. Lavelle unable to keep it inside the line. Barberi up to center. Stepetic turned around by Arlett. Good stick there by Lavelle as Barberi settles that one down from 70-some feet. Tran with a dump in for the Blue Devils. And now Central Catholic will ice the puck. Blue Devils playing 3 of their first 4 at home to start the regular season. They'll host Franklin Regional on TenbandTV. Same time next Thursday night, 7:10 Eastern. Central Catholic beginning a 3-game road trip with this contest. And the Vikings will visit Franklin Regional next Monday, the 20th, at Palmer Imaging Arena. And that game will also face off at 7:10. Bias shooting toward goal. It goes over top the goal. Looked like it was just going to die on top of the net, but took a strange roll and a favorable one for the Vikings. Phillip with a chance. He fires wide. Still looking for that HT. Daly from center. Backhands it off a glove. Daly recovers the puck for the Vikings. Phillip to the corner. Around the boards for Aaron Daly. Lost it to Bias. Lavelle backpedaling. Bias looking for room. Vikings continue to defend the Mount Lebanon All-Star exceptionally well. Conrarty above the circle. That shot blocked by Lavelle. Conrarty, good keep at the left point. Albanese outmaneuvers one of the Blue Devils and is able to get it back to center. Stepetic gets it to the Mount Lebanon line. Quick change by the Vikings and a steal by Masidi. Masidi through the left circle, trying to feed it to Haliburka. That pass broken up by Conrarty. Haliburka out in front. Turnaround try, save made Shane. It's loose. Lebo has it. Big stop there by Shin to keep his team alive with 2 minutes to go. And an egregious offside there. Lynham and Mayer not nearly on the same, or White I should say, not nearly on the same wavelength. We'll keep an eye on that net down to our left as Anthony Rako, not Jeremy Church, calls timeout. Again, coming up after this one on TenbandTV, we shift gears to Class A, the Gold Division to be exact. The Chartiers Valley Colts on our air for the first time this regular season, entertaining a team we've seen a couple of times already, the Avonworth Antelopes, your defending Class A Penguins Cup champions. They'll be on the road against the Colts tonight. Those teams played in different divisions last year, so they haven't met since 2024, actually, and the last meeting, which was in this building, was a dandy. Chartiers Valley at the time pulling it out in OT to preserve their undefeated regular season and going on to win their first Penguins Cup since 1986. It's been nearly 20 years since Mount Lebanon hockey tasted that kind of success. They'd like to add to that banner off to our far right, but one foot in front of the other. They got to get that first regular season W, and they've got 2:04 to extend this thing somehow, if not win it. And there goes Shin, even before the faceoff. Mount Lebanon, right out of the timeout, going with the extra skater. McGurk to center. Tran and Resler tied up along the near boards. Vikings will dump this puck, and it's going to ricochet toward the empty net, and it goes in! They all count the same for Braden McGurk. And with 1:49 to go, the Vikings have breathing room. McGurk, the junior, has Pac-Man fever as he pinballs it off the Mount Lebanon bench and gets the lucky bounce into the vacant net. Well, for Church and company, that was the sum of all fears. Shin goes off one more time. The Blue Devils obviously with nothing to lose at this juncture as Central Catholic ices the puck with 1.5 minutes left. And now Church will use his timeout. Blue Devils presumably will keep Shin on the bench and skate 6-on-5, but now they need 2 to tie. Officially, McGurk unassisted into the empty net. And that may be McGurk's first varsity goal, actually. He had 2 points otherwise entering the night. Central Catholic 4, Mount Lebanon 2 here at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center. And indeed, McGurk with his first varsity goal. He better keep that puck. In his 17th varsity game, he's opened his varsity account. Both teams working very hard in this contest. Again, you can't really fault the Blue Devils under the circumstances, but they find themselves in the familiar position of just needing a little bit more from that supporting cast and a little bit more from their captain, Xavier Bias, who's obviously got a bit of a book on him at this point as teams try to mark him up and focus their defensive game plan around the prolific scorer. Arlett with a misplay to Tran. Tran from inside his own line up to Kurta. Kurta trying to get around Daly. Daly's not going to let that happen as Bias and Huff are in there working for Mount Lebanon. Vikings will ice it again with exactly a minute to go. And again, off to our extreme right, we see some of the Chartiers Valley varsity players getting loose before the nightcap. Colts and the Lopes at 9:10 thereabouts on TenbandTV. Have another pop or a little more coffee and stick around, won't you? 40 seconds left. Blue Devils find time their enemy. Clinical defending deep in their own zone by the Vikings, who just barely missed the empty net. And oh, bless his heart, Phillip, inches from completing that hat trick. It glances off that right post, and it'll be another icing call on the Vikes. And Phillip, his teammates, of course, going to get their digs in. Hey, he'll take the victory all the same. The Vikings are about to go to 2-0-1. 2 regulation wins and 1 overtime win. And 8 points for the visitors on this young season. Arlett from his own line. Played inside the attacking zone by Wrestler. Tran to the corner. Vikings unable to clear, but it doesn't matter. 2 seconds left. That's it. Fort Pitt. Some words exchanged, but cooler heads prevailing in that corner. And Mason Barberi has some hockey hugs coming his way. 15 saves for the sophomore, and victory number 2 in his sophomore season at Central Catholic. Your final score, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils fall to the Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings. The Vikings take it by a final of 4-2. Thank you, Todd Kazarowski. Thank you, Austin McLean. And thank you, Michael Lyman and the Four Seasons. Thank you, of course, for watching and listening. I said it before, I'll say it again. Chartiers Valley and Avonworth are up next. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching PIHL Hockey Night Live on TenbandTV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.
That caught off Shin, and it caught off a piece of the post, I believe. Outlet pass intercepted. Coming the other way, Kane Phillip. Burial! Kane Phillip scores for the Vikings to take a 1-0 lead. And don't give up the Hedge Clippers. Officially, it's all Kane Phillip. An unassisted goal to put Central Catholic on top 1-0. Penalty coming up on the Blue Devils. Will White stick at the last moment. Steal by Mayer. Mayer scores! The Blue Devils go bar down with 9:40 to play in the first period. Cam Mayer ties the game at 1. Curta with it one more time for Nathan Tran. Under 40 to go in the period. Arlett shooting. I'll take that. Thank you very much, says Barberi. Got a piece of that one. Bias has the rebound. Bias to the goal. Bias out in front. Score! Graham Wrestler nuzzles that nylon with 20 seconds left. And he's listening to the flippin' song. They're dressing only 10 skaters tonight, but showing a lot of fight in that first period. And they've got the lead as the Vikings nearly tie it off the stick of Strobel. Shin with his biggest save of the contest. Right point. To the corner. Settled on by Halaburka. Halaburka takes the hit. It's played out in front. And Masidi ties it at 2. For the Central Catholic Vikings, Mateo Masidi smells like teen spirit. Phillip across the line. Blocker save by Shin, who knocks it out of action midway through this second period, in which deuces are wild for Central against Wrestler. And he'll win it. Stolen by Kurta, and the glove save made in response, but Daly with 20 to go. Cross ice. One-timer by Phillip. Score! Thank you, sir. May I have another? Kane Phillip with 18 ticks to talk. A little still loose. Is it jammed in? No, it is not. Barberi got the paw out there, and he freezes it inside that crease. And we will cut the ice at the Mount Lebanon Ice Center with your score. Central Catholic Vikings 3, Mount Lebanon Blue Devils 2. I'm Matt. Just that is the case. Albanese appears to be okay. Backhand try on Barberi. This puck's still available. High on top of the net, but took a strange roll and a favorable one for the Vikings. Phillip with a chance. He fires wide. Vikings will dump this puck, and it's going to ricochet toward the empty net, and it goes in! They all count the same for Braden McGurk. And with 1:49 to go, the Vikings have breathing room. Fine time there, enemy. Clinical defending deep in their own zone by the Vikings, who just barely missed the empty net. And oh, bless his heart, Phillip, inches from completing that hat trick. Central Catholic, your final score, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils fall to the Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings. The Vikings take it by a final of 4-2. Thank you.
It's a PIHL Hockey Night in Pittsburgh.